Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the Chart Show, the Knitting and Crochet Pattern Chart Show Roundup 2023. Where has that time gone, Fizz? We started it 52 weeks ago. Every week of doing the charts. So we're going to give you lots of chart roundups over the next hour. If you're watching us live, sat down on your settee and YouTube is streaming through your telly, hello everyone. If you're watching live on your telly and on an iPad and you're chatting away in the comments, hello everyone live in the comments. It's great seeing some great faces, familiar faces and some new faces too. If you're watching on catch up, I hope you enjoy the show. Here we are in between Christmas and New Year. Do you know what day it is? I've got confused already and I think I'm one day ahead. And who's eaten too much? Can't eat another thing. Hope you had a great holiday season, a Christmas day, Boxing Day, however you spend it. It's lovely to see so many of you here chilling out with us for the chart show. So let's just give a little bit more about what's coming up. So the idea of this show is, if you're in the live chat, it will be great. You always talk about anything anyway, but pattern related. It might be a great, especially if you're then watching on catch up, to then see what everyone's written about. So we want to talk about knitting patterns and crochet patterns, because each week Fizz and I have been doing the charts from Ravelry. Now, some of you might be going, what's Ravelry? Some of you may well know it. So let's just take 5 minutes just to have a look through Ravelry and explain it. If you know it, apologies for this, just carry on knitting or crocheting. But I thought it might be nice to show people too. So let's go to this screen here and hopefully, fingers crossed, it is blowing a hoolie outside. As Sue said, Storm... We go through the names so quickly. Storm Jarrett we've got here, and it is really, really, it's been perfect knitting weather though. I'll show you my updates soon. Anyway, Ravelry, a massive knitting and crochet database. Me and Fizz were talking about it earlier because Fizz was watching a video. And can you remember how many users, Fizz? 11 million. How many? 11, yeah. And as you see here from the login page, 4,958 are online literally as we speak. You do have to create an account. It is free, but you can choose how much information then to give to them. And then you can choose actually how much you want to get involved. This is the home screen. But where we make our charts is from the tabs at the top. You have patterns there, yarns, community, support, and advanced search. Sue, I know, Curly Sue comes to our Knit and Natter, and James, I think many of you probably do. Please write down in the chat. Do a lot in the community, a huge forum based. So many groups, specialist groups that are created for specialist events, and there are specialist community groups. But for me, as where I get involved is I'm just into the patterns. So I click on patterns, and then you get. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't. Oh, right. Fizz has just said something about that. So if you go back, if you click on Ravelers Online. Oh, look at that, everyone. Wowzers. And you can see where many of them are. United States, 1,423. And in the UK, let's go down, 166. Well, one of them is me. And maybe some others. That's fascinating. Thanks for that, Fizz. Right, so we go back. But I always go to patterns. And every Sunday, to make the chart, almost like our charts here we have in the UK, where we did back in the 80s and 90s. I know it's majorly different now with streaming. We don't necessarily go out and buy a song. Now, me and James have been talking about this, Herbison there, because the Christmas number one, which is a big thing to follow here in the UK with the charts, was Wham! Now, that song was released in 1984, but didn't get to number one because of Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas? And James was telling me it got to number one for the first time. Was it 2020? Now it's number one again because the amount of people streaming. And I presume the streaming odds, you've got to stream more to count for perhaps a sale. But so that's the idea of my charts, really. Inspired by what I used to watch every Thursday evening on Top of the Pops. And I have to say, James, where was I just saw, I'm loving this idea. So instead of Top of the Pops, this is going to be Stuart's Top of the Stitches. Well, that's what we're going to call the show for 2024. I've been trying to think of a name. There we go. Brilliant. But Top of the Pops, every Thursday they had the chart. And I thought, well, why don't we do the same? So me and Fizz then clicked on Advanced Search. And you can then see thousands and thousands of patterns. Now, yes, granted, Ravelry does look like a site still in 1998, 1999 mode, but it's still great functionality. The menu bar on your left is your huge friend. You'll use it all the time. If you're looking for a specific pattern, you can search and refine free, or you can refine for construction, whether it's top down, bottom up, age, gender, or the most important thing, the weight of wool. So if you like using worsted wool or Aran wool or fingering, then you can click on that and refine it down much more. But what we do for the charts is we go to this great top down, click that button there, and you can then tell Ravelry to show you specific things, specific set sorts made by an algorithm. So you can see the most popular. Now, when we were designing the charts, we thought, oh, let's do this one at first. But it never changed. Those ones you see there, the Sophie Scarf, the Musselburgh, the Ranunculus, the World's Simplest Hats by Tinkanit, they're there every week. Because we were trying this, would you believe, November last year. And we did it for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it's like, no, we can't use this algorithm. It's not changing. No one wants to watch it each week. So then we thought, well, let's click Hot Right Now. So we click Hot Right Now. And this algorithm is showing you what everyone is looking at, what they're clicking on. And it's as current as you can possibly get. And I thought, well, this will be exciting because new patterns or what people are talking about, or if the designer over in America has released something, then the hubbub goes around and you can see what people are talking about, what people are clicking on. Also, if someone's released one of their patterns for a moment online free of charge, that often gets lots of hits by people. So that can show up. So if you're like, oh, there's a lot of her patterns in the top 10, then you'll know, oh, there could be a discount code, or they could even be free. So it's a great one to watch out for. In fact, that happened, Fizz, several weeks ago. Who was it with? The pattern that there was quite a few names there, and I think she had a discount code, or it was free because it was appearing in Hot Right Now. And you did it. We liked the look of it. The one you just finished. Yes. Lisa Much, Blood Moon. And that's how we came to find, well, how I came to find out about her from what everyone was looking at on Hot Right Now. So as you can see now, Sunday snapshot, we have this is knitting because I've refined it there. We've got Icebreaker as number 1, 12 Days of Knitmas, and the Field Sweater there at number 5. There's Stephen West, and that's how we've done the charts. I then take the snapshot of the 10, drop those photos into my editing software. Fizz takes the links, and we make it into a fun chart. And it has been fascinating charting it every Sunday for 52 weeks. And we've not stopped. We've not missed a week. Granted, we might have been a couple of days late on some. When I was in Disneyland, Fizz took over and did it. but we always took the snapshot from Sunday, and it's been amazing because it's opened my eyes to so many new designers, but it's also opened my eyes to the same designers appearing over and over again. And that's going to create, I think, a fascinating conversation with you all, especially you live chatters here at the moment. So that's basically Ravelry and how it works. So now if you want to see the Hot Right Now patterns for crochet, you've just got to click on the crochet refine bar. If I can do that, if my computer's going to allow me. Take off knitting. There we go. Crochet, take off knitting. Is it going to take off knitting? There we go. And now we can see the Hot Right Now in crochet. And if you've got time, because you need a lot of time, and you'll find if you do have like, oh, I've got 10 minutes to spare, I reckon you'll lose that straight away, and it'll be an hour later and you'll still be looking on Ravelry. But it's nice going through all those ones that you've got an interest in, like new to Ravelry. Perhaps some new pattern designers, when they release a pattern, they check a little box on that, and that will come up as brand new too. If you want to search for designers, you can then just go to the top there. It is fascinating. I've got the shop, so you can see I've logged in as a shop. You can even buy patterns. This is where I'm learning myself. You can buy patterns from people's shops. So the local yarn shop gets money from that. It's amazing how it works. I don't fully know how it works, but it does. Sue is always telling me about, is it this one here, Sue? People. And then you can find your friends, or you can find people, and then you can see what people are looking at. Where is that? Is that people here? This one? Oh no, it's friends. Oh yeah. So I go to friends, and it then shows you what your friends are looking at. And I'm now slowly starting to get into this. Look, Anya, everyone. You haven't seen Anya for many a year. We've actually got to get her on the show because she's she's pretty much ready to burst and have her little baby mid-January. My birthday's the 9th. I think it's expected in sort of the 12th, 13th time. But clearly she's been busy. Look, she's been looking at... she's been looking at the field sweater, and that's in Hot Right Now too. So that's often nice to see what your friends are looking at. But as I say, let's come back to me. It's up to you how much you want to get involved with Ravelry. I just pretty much go on there for patterns, search a pattern, refine it down to Aran weight jumper, and then go, oh, I like that. Or I might then do I want a top down Aran knit jumper, and then see what it shows you. It's a phenomenal resource. So basically, that's how I got the idea for Top of the Pops, and that's how I got the idea of making it a chart, a fun chart. And now we've got, would you believe, 52 weeks worth. Well, before we go into the countdown, oh, Anya's even there. Place your bets. Hey, Anya. Yes. It's a little sweepstake. We need to do that next time I see you. Oh no, I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yes, there we go. So before we do all the final roundup of the year countdowns, we've got one chart left to show you, and that's week 52. We can't just do 51 weeks. We've got to do the whole year. So before we move on, we've got the 52nd week to sum up all of the weeks. Fizz is ready with her copy and paste with all the links to the patterns. We start off with crochet. Yeah. Fizz is ready. Right, let's take a look at what's hot right now for the last week of the year, week 52 in crochet. the crochet charts there, and a little sort of inside information. It was so lovely doing the charts for this last week, 52 for crochet, because Nicole Riley there, who you see, that's her first number one that we have seen over the 52 weeks. You'll see her name come up several times. If you're a crocheter, you no doubt probably have heard of her name. So for us, seeing her number one on the last Sunday chart is really nice. And obviously, I know Hot Right Now changes all the time. You come back in 4 hours, and of course it's going to be different, and even in 2 or 3 days' time. So I know it can change, and she could be number one again. But from our point of view, from a Sunday, it's just nice seeing that from how we've done it over 52 weeks. The knitting charts. Who do you think is going to be in the top 10? I know many of you. Sue's already mentioned it. I'll just whiz through the chat because they were talking about knitting. And Sue, where did you say it? Can I find it quick enough? I'm searching. There we go. Talking to James, made a start on West Knit's Hyber Knit Along yesterday. Love glittery yarn. Sue's got some fabulous 2-ply lace weights, and it's got a bit of sparkle, and she brought her colours in earlier this week, and a lovely sort of pinky, lilac-y, purpley. Oh, it's wonderful. Anyone else doing it? I've seen the pattern. It looks wonderful. It looks my cup of tea, actually, because I'm one for, those good old classic sampler blankets that you'd get in the olden days over a bed, and they're in squares in one colour, and one square is in different shapes of pearls and knits, and then you get it's like a sampler in the quilt world, and then another square is a different set of wherever the pearls and knits go, and I thought that Hyber Knit Along was kind of reminiscent to that, kind of classy with not too many different things going on. So it looks good knit if you're doing it. So will he be in the charts? Let's take a look. So here's week 52, the last week of the year before we go into the big chart countdown roundup of 2023. So this is the knitting charts. There we go. Yeah, there it was in there. And then, of course, the field sweaters there. And we've had a chat and a giggle about this over the last 52 weeks, about the ranunculus. Where's it been? Where's it been for the last, Fizz, 6-7 weeks? It has been a while. Whether it's been at, say, 10 or 11, it could well have been. I'm sure. Should we go back and have a quick look? Shall we see where the ranunculus is? Did you? Fizz says it reckons at number 20. Right, put your bets in. Where do you think it will be? So again, Hot Right Now. What's everyone looking at? And we want knitting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10... 15. There we are, number 16. So it's not too far away. Week 43, Fizz. I love this. Fizz, you're like, we've got a game show here called Pointless where they have, I'm like Alistair, and you're the facts person. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Wow. I won't even try and say what Fizz just said in my ear, but I just remembered 11 million. But she rattled off the whole of Ravelry users. That's an awful lot of people. That's an awful lot of data, which is why it's such an invaluable resource. If you want to find something, you can. And actually, that's just reminded me, Fizz, because Sue taught me this as well. Let's go back to Ravelry. This is the function I find great. So this is my pattern that I'm knitting at the moment in Stillness 2. Alicia Plummer. Wonderful. That's what I'm knitting now. We'll talk about that later on when we chill after the charts. That's my Boxing Day knit. So I've done really well so far. But so you can see the pictures. You can see all the information that you need. Right? What yardage you need, what weight wool you need, and everything. But it's this bit up here that's the fascinating bit. So look at these areas at the top, and it's projects and comments, so you can see what everyone else has done making it. Look, so someone has done it there in a looks like a variegated. Oh, that's nice. But I think I just spotted a note saying, oh look, yarn held double. And some people will write really detailed notes, and that can really guide you on your pattern, because they might say, oh, don't do this, or, oh, this came up at this point and I got a bit confused. I watched this tutorial to help. They can give so much information. So look at this one, for example. Finished 2023 December. Oh, right, this month. And if you see how there's a little bit of blurb there, it says, this is my very first sweater. I'm loving the process. The pattern is very easy too. Can't see any more. Click on more. And then you can scan and not only see your pictures, look at all those notes. And there could be something there that absolutely helps you. I don't think I could be possibly happier with my first sweater, or for each transition to rib, I did a row of stocking stitch. You might find just slight alternatives too. It is a phenomenal resource, and you can keep going through, and you might find, oh, someone's done it with a different yarn or a different color that could inspire you too. It is absolutely brilliant. Oh look, made some adjustments. Let's look at him. Finished August 2023, did that say? Made some adjustments to make this pattern more like a nice tee per my partner's request. Sleeves are only knit 7 inches. Well, what a great idea. And you know what it's like? If you have a pattern that you like doing and it works, you just want to knit it again and again and again. So there, I could, if it works for me, I could have a short sleeve version too. So that's a really top tip for Ravelry too. Right, we're ready. Let's look at all that data that we've taken. Fizz has got a wonderful Word document with it all in. We've been number crunching it over the last 3 or 4 days. We've tweaked it to add the data from to this last week, 52, which we've just done. So we literally were updating it, but about half an hour before we came live on air, because Nicole Riley was there. So I had to just tweak one of the countdowns, as well as Stephen West, because that's an extra appearance. So the categories we've got are as follows. We have got the designer that's just appeared in the charts the most over 52 weeks from every Sunday that we've seen. So we've got that coming up, knitting and crochet. Always knitting and crochet. Oh, am I going to sneeze? Oh, no. Might come back again. We've also got the designer with the most number ones, because that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Who has been the top and had number one? And of course, how many number ones, if any? So we've got 2 charts for knitting and crochet of which designer has had the most number ones. And then to finish with, we've got the pattern. Which pattern has appeared the most? Has it appeared over and over and over again? And how many times has it appeared? And yes, we've already given some hints away about the ranunculus. Well, is it number one? And how many times has it been number one? And also, we've got 2 special interviews. Yeah, earlier on, I was able to dial in with 2 winners that we've got here from the charts. They were such great sports. One from the knitting world and one from the crochet world. Who is it going to be? So we're in for a really good show. I said, I think we're around to finish around 9:30. I've blocked in an hour and a half. If I've got here on my schedule 9:15, that might be a hope. But yes, up to 9:30. 2 great interviews. That are around 15 minutes in length. I think I said on did I remember? Yes. Oh, I was saying to Fizz about whether we need to cut it down a bit, but actually she said no, they were great to listen to. So you've got the full interview to listen to, and it's fascinating listening to the designer talk about their process. So you've got some real treats coming up. So let's go into our first charts. Now we've had 52 weeks shown. We're going to be showing the top for the designer with the most appearances. So over 52 weeks, which designer has appeared in the charts for the Hot Right Now over 52 weeks. So we're going to start off with the Crochet Designer. Here we go. So the designer appearance for Crochet Top 5. Number 5, Nicole Riley with 11 appearances over 52 weeks. Number 4, Tatiana Kuprianic with 12 appearances in the charts. Number 3, we've got Josie Anderson with 18 appearances in the Crochet Hot Right Now. And number 2, Kim Guzman with 22 appearances in the Hot Right Now charts. Who's number 1? BebaBlanket with 37 appearances. 52 weeks and having 37 appearances in the charts. Phenomenal. And it's interesting, when we were doing those charts every Sunday, seeing some of those names appearing again. And it was fascinating. And I suppose we get interests, don't we? BebaBlanket is all about mosaic crochet. If you're in the chat live and you've done mosaic crochet, drop us some messages. What is it about that whole technique? It's because I think it's kind of a new thing. It seems to me in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been seeing mosaic really, really take off. But let us know in the chat. Also, let us know if you've done a BebaBlanket too, or if you know someone has. And if not, have you been inspired by it? Let us know. The knitting chart then. Let's see the knitting designer with the most appearances. Who do you think has been appearing a lot? And you might be quite surprised because it might not be the person who you think it is. Let's take a look at the knitting chart. So the top 5 of designer appearances in the knitting chart. Number 5, Stephen West. He's appeared 13 times. Number 4, Petite Knit with 15 appearances. How many of those with the Sophie Star? Number 13, Ruta Saab with 22 appearances over 2023. And at number 2, Midori Hirose with 23 appearances. How much of the ranunculus is that? And then number 1, Kristina Vilimaite, 27 appearances over 2023. Well done to Kristina Vilimaite. And yes, I was privileged to be able to get her on Zoom. Couldn't, because of technology and the way things went, couldn't get her onto this system. So it's good old-fashioned Zoom, but I've edited it all together and put her in. It was a wonderful little conversation. So put your feet up, and you can probably knit away, but try to keep an eye on her, because that's like she sells. She shows us 3 or 4 upcoming designs that she's currently working on. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see her influences and what she's created in her little samples. And it was a wonderful conversation. So it's going to go to a pre-recorded section now of my chat with Kristina, who is top of the charts for appearing the most times over 2023. Enjoy. Kristina Vilimaite here. Each week we do these charts and a little snapshot on a Sunday of what people are looking at on Ravelry. And out of all the knitting designers who have appeared, you are the top. You've been there, and I've got some little stats here to share with everyone. We're up to 52 weeks. You have appeared 27 times out of those 52. Out of those 27 times, 11 of them is for the photography shawl. An amazing make. How do you feel about the photography shawl appearing like that all the time?
I'm absolutely glad about it. I really love the shawl itself and the photos, the cover photo as well. Really glad that it's getting noticed in this way.
What I like about Ravelry is when you can click on projects and you can see what everyone else has done and the comments that people leave and how they've also modified it. I was reading some people saying, oh, I wanted to do more of that part and less of that part and so forth. Is it very adaptable like that?
Actually, all my patterns are like, that's one of the main criteria when I design something. I try to make something that is like, there are lots of repeats that can be worked more times or fewer times in the shawl. And I also have lots of test knitters who try all those various options, and some of test knitters figure out how to do their own options. So yeah. Wow. Like I usually, when I launch the pattern, it's like test knit by like 10 people probably, and the shawls will be of different sizes. So that's also my like values that I can add somehow, that people can adapt based on how much yarn they have, how big shawl they want to knit. Wow. So yeah, most of my patterns are like that.
Each week I compile the charts. I see you so many times. I feel like I know you, but I don't. So tell the viewers about your background.
Well, it was a hobby for some time, and then I started designing professionally. But at the same time, I was working, for example, in environmental NGO when I started designing. So it was like in parallel, doing real work and doing designing work. And then my daughter got born, and I stayed with her at home for some time. During that time, I really went into designing more, and yeah.
Well, as you're knitting, you've always got these ideas, have you? Is that why you went into design? You could see things and visualize things.
Yeah, in a way. So it's like designing, I think it requires a lot of skills. So it's kind of like systemic thinking. I don't know, that you put together. Everybody do the designing differently. So in my case, I like having interesting stitches, and then I see how to combine them, and I love getting some kind of like feeling in the shawl, into the shawl. So like, I don't know, in the beginning I was doing, seeds to flowers come to my mind. That are like, you plant some seeds, and then there are stems growing up, there are leaves, and then at the end there are flowers. So for me, like the conceptual designing is very interesting, that there is a story that I see in the design when I create a shawl. Maybe others don't see it, but for me that's the inspiration.
I completely understand that. I couldn't do that at all, but I know we're all different, and that's why I'm not a designer. So what are you working on at the moment then? Are you doing anything like that at the moment? Designing?
Yeah, actually. So that's also a shawl that has lots of like flower motifs.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can see also it starts somewhere, like there are no seeds in this one, but I will show one with the seeds, and there are leaves, and then there are stems and some kind of buds.
Oh wow, Kristina, look at all those different stitches. So is that a little sample, or are you actually making the shawl? You're going to keep going and going and going?
That's a sample. And then it's already, I usually knit from some kind of one type of yarn, all of my samples, that's another one. So I have many samples, and then I will knit them from the same yarn, and this is already the original yarn, but I really loved the gray for this shawl, and this is from Vogue collection. They have a new yarn that they are launching right now, I think, that has lots of mohair in it, like 45%, I think.
It's so very much the fashion at the moment, mohair, and a lot of companies are bringing out their mohair, you know, that the fluff of a lace weight, and every company's got it, I think, at the moment.
Absolutely, because you have very good stitch definition, and then there's the softness or this fuzziness of it, so that's beautiful, I think.
Oh, what? Anything else you can show us? It's like sneak peeks of things coming up from Kristina.
That's another shawl. That's that's the right side.
Oh, look at that!
And in this sense, this is more like structural pattern. I really like that because of that, and I really love ribbing and also flaring of the ribbing. So I use those elements here.
Love that little cable crossover, or is that just a twist stitch?
How is it worked? There are double yarn overs, and then you knit into the knit and purl, and then you just cross 2 stitches. Yeah.
Lovely.
So there is a little cable, but before that there are double yarn overs worked. So it has. I will try to make it more. Like,
oh, look at that!
So that's how it looks.
Yes. And I love the garter stitch at the edge. That nice band of garter stitch on the beautiful.
So it will continue like this. It will be wider. The garter will be wider, and this section will be wider, but it will be like a straight line of ribbing, something like that. And for this, we are working on the yarn. Will come from Martin's lab, I think.
Do you have a favorite yarn that you like working with? Not brand, but like a weight of yarn.
Fingering or double knit.
Yeah.
I think Deka. Work in progress. Oh, that's again wrong side. This is like clouds.
They
and
do.
Mountains.
Wow.
It's with mohair you always have to like do it a few times like that, and then it starts living because they were in some kind of bag before I took them out. And so this is lace, and in this case, this is fingering, but I will be using Deka for it. And I'm getting very interesting yarn, which is hand spun in Tibet.
Oh, wow.
And then in Taiwan, there is a company, Shamdrok. They are working with those women that are working in the mountains, actually, from yak yarns. And so this will be like hand-dyed but commercial yarn, and the mountains will be Tibetan. I don't know how to pronounce
you do well. When I was reading on your Ravelry page, you're doing some charity work. Is it Sight is Life? Is that still going ahead?
That is finished, actually. There was a Hungarian doctor working in Congo for 20 years, and I read about him in National Geographic, and I was so inspired that there are, people that devote their life to some kind of very beautiful goal. And he, for 20 years, he's working like a doctor, like, I don't know, in villages in Congo, like they fly there because there are no roads. And he does eyesight restoring surgery. And so local people look at him like from a blind person, you can do a person that sees. So it's very, very mystical for them. But also for me, it was very incredible that somebody, just does this in his life. And he helps so many people. So I was so inspired, and I figured out that I could collect some money through Ravelry. And I was cooperating with a lot of designers for making this project.
You did some wonderful work for charity. That's the most important thing.
Beautiful, and they were really glad about it, about the money they received, and it was like it was contribution to building a hospital, and now the hospital is operating already. So there was money coming from somewhere else, but over 10%, I think, came at that point that they were really, really in need for the continuation of the project, and this was provided by Ravelry people, contributed by people who purchased this ebook and the patterns. But so lots of I have really lots of flowers nowadays, so you can, this is like poppies, and then
that is amazing.
They're very cute, I think.
That's incredible. And that reminds me, there's a British artist, a local artist to me called Angie Lewin. She often does lino printing with poppy heads and poppy seeds. So to see that in knitting, that's amazing.
I really love to knit something. So because I don't have a garden and I would love one, so maybe that's how it comes to my mind. There is something else. I
feel very privileged to see all these upcoming designs. Look!
There are some other.
Yeah, I can see that, Kristina. That is beautiful.
I don't know how to.
No, we've got it perfectly. Look at the stitch definition. Yeah, look at that. It's like beautiful.
Like dandelions or something. So I imagine things when I knit, and maybe other people don't imagine those things, but it's okay. At least I have fun.
No, and that absolutely, and that's why you're a designer as well.
Like water drops, that's also that's very similar designs to the architectural one. But I also like to use the natural, this stitch, it goes. I don't know if you can see, but it has this wavy pattern, because this is how the stitch is working, and I really love to use such things when designing.
Oh, so creative. Now, are they just ideas, or are they going to turn into patterns?
They are already patterns. So I have drafts for all of them, and some of them, the wall collection yarn arrived just a couple of days ago. So this is the sample from that yarn. Before that, I had a different sample. So so I'm knitting that. There will be also matching hat and matching mitts. Now I want collections as well.
For 2024, there's going to be a lot of patterns coming out from you then.
I hope so, because I really hope so, because I didn't have this designing mojo. That's how you say it.
Yeah, absolutely. You lost it for a bit, did you?
For a long time, I didn't feel like designing. And now it's so interesting, exciting. So I'm I wake up and I wait in the morning that when can I start writing the pattern or anything. That's cool. That's very different from what I felt before. So I hope really that I will finish all of them. Now only a few are in the progress, but I think all of them will be.
Yeah, you've shown us now. You've got to finish them. I want to do that poppy one. I can't wait for that one. Oh, Kristina, your enthusiasm comes across in bounds. Very, very clever. You're such a creative designer. And that is clearly apparent from what you've shown us, but also the love of people finding you on Ravelry and looking for you all the time. And I know you do special deals with your patterns on Ravelry too, and you do stuff sometimes with free patterns, and you're always trying to support the knitter who is buying patterns, and we're fully appreciative of that. But for today in our chart show, you are the #1 top knitter who's appeared 27 times out of 52 weeks. It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you very much for your time. And I shall let you go now to carry on with all your knitting work you've got to do. Cheers, Kristina.
It was a pleasure.
Happy holidays to you. Cheers.
Thank you. And greetings to everybody on Ravelry.
How nice was that? How wonderful is Kristina? Kristina, if you're watching, thank you very much, and well done as well on that. Most appearances in the chart. And Fizz has put, as always, you've got the links there. If you want to find more about Kristina, you can do. They're in the chat. At the end of the show, if you're watching on catch up, you should be able to go down into the description box down below and find those links too. And explore some of her work. It was Wonderful, fascinating talking to her. As that VT was going out, I was chatting with Fiz about Ravelry 2, and it's just completely gone from my mind. What was I going to do, Fiz? I can't remember on Ravelry. Can you remember? Oh, that's it. Ravelry, back to Ravelry. We were talking about the details of Kristina, where you can find it on Ravelry. But sometimes on Ravelry it gets a bit confusing because you'll have a designer name and you'll have their Ravelry name. So let's go back to our Ravelry screen and let's try and explain that a bit. So if we're going to go to, we want to find the photography shawl, yeah? So let's write in photography shawl. And that's, oh, did I not spell it right? No. And I was even talking it through. There we go. Right, so there, if you can see there, photography shawl, Kristina Vilimaite, and then underneath it says Animanit's Ravelry store, because that's a username. So if you click on Kristina, there we go. It will tell you about the designer, and then her username is. And so just bear that in mind, so not to get confused. I did it first, especially with one of the crocheters, when I was thinking, oh, I was looking for that name, but I was looking for a designer name, when actually she uses a Ravelry name more. So it's just beware of that. You can often find two names, but Ravelry is very good. If you put in one or the other name, it should still come up in the search anyway. Where were we? So we just did that one, and we did that one, and we just had that Kristina there. And some messages. Let's have a before we go on to the next countdown. Let's have a look. Margaret, yes. Happy holidays to you. Happy Christmas. Rich Osman, yes. So fizz in my ear with all the stats. You should see the spreadsheets that we've got. Oh. Color-coded, stats everywhere, Word document. If you wanted all that information, we could actually give that to them, Fizz, couldn't we? They could actually source that. We're not making it up. It's all there. It's all real. We haven't tweaked it to make better excitement, which you'll see actually later on coming up in the charts. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Dinky Crafts. I'm starting my first... Oh, yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? You're starting your first mosaic blanket, Cal, in January, right? So for the Wool Patch show in January, give us some feedback or pop on the show and let us know how it's going, whether you're enjoying it and enjoying that process of carrying the strands along. So Natasha, hey, Natasha, good evening. Interesting how some designers have a very varied set of patterns indeed, and some are quite specific. You could see their style repeating over and over. Like we've talked about this before with film directors being auteurs, because you recognise a Spielberg or a Tarantino. There we go. Yes, what an amazing interview she sent down indeed. Well, as they all are, really, when you think about it, all the patterns on Ravelry, there are some stunners, and you can find something for whatever your interest is, for sure. Something for everyone. Right, the next countdown chart we have are the ones with the most number ones. It's hard to get a number one. You think of how many eyes, I suppose we'll never know that algorithm, how many eyes you need to get that number one click, how many people are looking at you to get that number one. Well, what's going to be interesting, we've got all that data, and we're going to start off with the knitting designers with the most number ones. And as I say, it's going to be interesting to see if it's the people who you thought, because some of you might be thinking, I'm sure they'll have loads of number ones. Well, it's been fascinating to watch over 52 weeks, for sure. So here is the top. What have we got? 3? I think we've got 3. Yes, 3 for the knitting designers with the most number ones. Well, what did you think? The ones who you thought? And I know many of you are probably, you're probably shouting at the screen and saying, yeah, but that's a make-along. It's the same pattern for 4 weeks. Well, it's just a number one, remember. Doesn't really matter. Maybe some of you might be thinking, well, if you've got number one for 3 different patterns, is that more of a feat? But it's certainly been interesting to see who was number one and actually how many there were. So let's have a look at that. So Stephen West had 4 number ones because of the mystery knit along, which makes sense, doesn't it? Over 4 weeks of, was it October and November? The whole of October? The whole of a month. So there's a lot of people clicking and looking at that pattern. Unit Toronto had 3 separate patterns, so 3 number ones, but then all the rest were 2s. Now think about that, over 52 weeks. We had Yohi Locatelli, Petite Knit and Camilla Vad with 2 number ones. And I was amazed because I just naturally thought, well, Steve West would have had loads of number ones, like however many patterns he had. But it's what's interesting, certainly been interesting to have a look. And when you look at that as well, the knitting designers, where was the ranunculus? So it's appeared many times, but never been number one. What's that expression? Ting always says it to me. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride. Poor old ranunculus. Shall we look at the crochet designers with the most number ones? Yeah, here we go. Top 3. Okay, the top 3, a joint third again. Kim Guzman, Tina Thoridor and Ruta Saab. And then number 2, Tatiana Kuprianic with 4 number ones over 2023. And then there it is, BebaBlanket, a whopping 16 number ones. 16. And then you compare that to the knitting, where you thought that some of those designers, they'd be number one all the time and they'd have loads of number ones. 16 number ones. And funny enough, me and Fizz were chatting over the last couple of weeks. We're like, oh, I haven't seen BebaBlanket. She's going to get caught up. And actually, she was so far in front. And it's been fascinating seeing her patterns come out over the year and how quick they come out and how her ideas come out into patterns. I'd never heard of BebaBlanket as a designer before. So that's one of the great things about doing this chart, because since doing that, I often show her patterns now to people in the shop when they're coming into the shop and they want a crochet pattern. And some are mosaic crocheters as well. And they say, have you got a pattern? And I talk to them about Ravelry. So I show them BebaBlanket. Let us know in the chat if you've come across BebaBlanket at all. Again, it's that mosaic crochet. And it seems to be everywhere at the moment. Dinky Crafts, which one was you? I know you're popping off, you're going off, but let us know if you're doing. Was it? I can't. Did you say which one you were doing? You said you were doing one. Oh no, you just said you're doing a mosaic blanket. Yeah, not a Cal, not which one. That might be a BebaBlanket. Well, anyway, yes, you guessed it. I was really fortunate enough to make a meeting happen with BebaBlanket because it's like, well, she's had so many number ones. And actually, she was also the designer with the most appearances. If you saw the first chart, number one with 37 appearances. So 37 appearances over 52 weeks. And then to have 16 number ones. That's a lot of people clicking on your patterns and on your links in Ravelry. Well, enjoy this. Again, another sort of 13, 14 minutes. But there is something about the enthusiasm of Daiga. Daiga's her name, the person behind BebaBlanket. I think you will love this interview. Enjoy.
Daiga from BebaBlanket. Hello, Daiga.
Hi, Stuart. Nice to see you. Nice talking.
Oh, thrilled to have you joining us. Would you believe, Daiga, out of 52 weeks that I've been doing these charts since January the 1st, you've appeared in that chart on Sundays 37 weeks worth.
Oh my God.
I know.
Really?
Amazing.
Wow.
And out of those 37 weeks worth that you've appeared, this is the amazing thing. You have been number one when we've done the chart 16 times.
My God. I feel like I'm some kind of superstar. It's unbelievable.
It's phenomenal. And there have been some weeks, where have I got it here? I'll just rattle off a few. Week 4, so towards the end of January, you had your Winter Mosaic Jewels by BebaBlanket. Week 6, the Aztecana. Then week 7, First Sunrise. Are these ringing a bell? Yeah, can you remember these?
Yes, of course.
And the weeks just go on. But as I say, you've not just been in the top 10, you've been number one. So your patterns really resonate with many, many people. Did you know how popular your patterns were?
Not really. You know, sometimes I do take a look at this Ravelry top 10, but usually I don't have time for this. So usually somebody informs me. They send me a message by messenger. They pop the huge wow in my Facebook group, you know. So I keep, somebody still keep updating me all the time.
Oh, good. Well, it was wonderful to see. And I was getting probably to halfway through the year, summertime, and I was thinking of this idea of doing this compilation chart show, this special show. And you are already winning with the amount of times you've appeared. So I thought, well, we've got to try and get BebaBlanket on this show because it would be wonderful to talk about it. So first of all, Daiga, just give our audience a bit about yourself and your crocheting world, if you can.
You know, honestly, I've been crocheting and knitting all my life since I learned this, since I took a crocheting hook in my hand. And since that day, I haven't been following even one pattern. Oh, sorry, no, I will lie. I have been following one pattern only. All my life, I have been crocheting only whatever comes to my head. Like just letting it flow, experimenting with the stitches, you know, every time, whatever, was it knitting or crocheting, I have been always just doing something by myself. I never liked following instructions. So first of all, when I started, I didn't know how to follow them. And then when I knew already how to follow the pattern, I still never enjoyed it. I never liked it. I always wanted something from me, something my own. That's how, you know, all started, you know, I think since the very beginning.
Oh, so how have you then found, so if you've enjoyed that freedom and creating your own stuff, how have you found going into being a designer then and then having to write that down? Or have you got someone very clever to do that for you?
Oh, actually, I have to be very, very thankful to all crocheters around who were around me from the very beginning and encouraging me. Because when I started, I was learning with every single step, and now I'm still learning, you know, that the pattern has to be written, that it has to be tested and everything. When I learned these steps and I started publishing my patterns, I started releasing them free of charge, without charging. And with every single pattern, you know, people started encouraging me, why you don't sell it? Why you don't sell it? Why you don't sell it? It wasn't easy for me, you know, I enjoyed that process a lot because when it comes to business, it starts stress, responsibilities, all these extra things. I enjoyed it when it was free as well. But then it comes economical part, you know, I need yarn, simple to buy yarn. And I wasn't working somewhere. So it means I was asking my husband, can you give me some money to buy yarn, you know? And
it's a good deal, that.
You know? And of course, I have to be very thankful to my husband, you know, that he was supporting this from the very beginning. All crocheters who were supporting me. And slowly, I gained this courage to release my patterns, you know, and start selling them also, you know. And slowly, we are growing.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, thrilled you've done that and you've got the confidence, because you are right. As soon as you go down that business route, it does change a bit, and there is added stress there. But clearly, you're resonating with many people and your style. Tell me, where does your inspiration come from, your patterns? Because some of those patterns were released like 2 or 3 weeks within each other. So you're really knocking them out. Where do you get your inspiration from?
You know, inspiration is something that I never have to search for. It just popping up in my head non-stop. I'm like, okay, I will close computer, I will close my Excel because I'm creating patterns on Excel. I will not touch my Excel not to create another one pattern because I cannot keep up with my ideas. My testers cannot keep up with my ideas. The crocheters cannot keep up. They are like, Daiga, slow down, slow down.
Well,
it's like, you know, I just open Excel and boom, new pattern, you know. It's like, now that I got obsessed with this mosaic crochet pattern.
Yes, yeah.
And I love geometric design, so this is so me. It just, you know, I just open the Excel and I have no idea what I'm going to do. I just start, you know, putting these colors, coloring these cells, and the pattern comes. You know, sometimes, of course, you know, it's like I can do something. No, I don't like it. Close, delete. I do again. I don't like. Wow, this one is nice. Okay, let's go.
Oh, it's wonderful. It very much is a craze here in the UK. Many of my customers, as you know, I've got a little bricks and mortar shop here in the UK, and there are crocheters coming in learning mosaic crochet for the first time. I can see how it is addictive, and I can see how you could you're almost like an artist. Painting it, you get this idea, I'll try that. How wonderful is that? Are you working on something at the moment, I presume?
Oh, non-stop. It never ends, you know, and it's like I always have like about, I don't know, 5 to 10 patterns in different levels.
Yeah.
In progress. Some patterns are just in my head, some in computer, some are in testing, some are in translating, in editing, in different stages, and I'm all over the place all the time.
Oh, Doug, you're wonderful.
Always controls all this process. always many projects in process.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's good. That's good for your fans as well, knowing that you're going to be knocking out more patterns over the coming months. Now, tell me about the pattern that's that wonderful blanket there. Do you know what the name of that one is? Because I'm sure many people are going to be asking.
That one was released last year. It's my glorious Christmas pattern. Absolutely love this pattern. You know,
it's wonderful. Do you have a favorite all time? I know that's going to be really hard, but have you got a favorite or some favorites of all time?
Oh my God, yeah, it's a very difficult question. It's like asking you to choose my favorite child, you know. This one definitely is one of my favorite ones. I also absolutely love ancient stories. The funny story about the pattern you mentioned, As Sweet As, this is one of my older patterns. The funny story about this pattern is that I made it by mistake. I made mistake, not by mistake. I made mistake creating the pattern, and this mistake came to be an amazing design.
Oh.
I made mistake calculating increase, and this created this nice texture, puffiness. Just by mistake. I made mistake in calculation, which worked amazingly.
Oh, that's just so refreshing to hear, because I used to be a teacher, and we often say the only way you grow is by making mistakes, because sometimes the best ideas, or the best, especially in theatre, in the world of creation, sometimes the mistakes can lead to something wonderful. And look at that. That just shows that can happen. Do you have a favorite color palette that you like to work with, or are you like, oh, I'm going to do a different color this time? Oh, I'm going to do a different color.
I think every year I have some different crazy ideas about the colors, and I always say to myself, no, I will stick with this color palette and I will not change it. Next year I will change my mind again. My absolute favorite all the times, and this doesn't change, are blues, different blues. And now recently I came to this more muted colors, like more terracotta, earthy colors, which I can tell is absolutely a nightmare to shop, because these colors do not exist. This is a huge challenge to find these colors, but it's used to my new house and my design interior, so I like to stick now to these ones, but it's a challenging.
Now, for our viewers who are watching, who want to find more about you, are there any places where they can find you best?
Okay, so I guess Facebook would be number one.
Okay.
I have a BebaBlanket page. I have a Crochet Patterns by BebaBlanket group on Facebook. Amazing group, I have to say. Huge thank you to all members, because they are all so kind, so supportive. It makes my life so much easier, and I'm so happy, you know. I do not have to be all over all the time, you know, and to control the situation. I just come there to enjoy what I see. They share the work created with my patterns. So nice, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that's down to you, Daigo, because you're giving them something with your wonderful patterns and inspiration, and so to get that back on your Facebook group, and I know as well from my little YouTube channel that I have, the community, when they connect with someone that they are interested in and they can relate to them, the community just grows and blossoms. So that you know, I can understand why you want to thank them, because they can do amazing things, can't they?
They do amazingly, really. And it's such a pleasure to see, you know, it's one thing that I enjoy what I do. It's such a huge pleasure to see people like it, you know.
Yeah.
And when I see the projects they create, they share, and they are excited about it, this is something like amazing. It's like that, the moments are like, this is why I continue doing what I am doing, you know, because
well, Daigo, it's been wonderful. I hope you keep doing it. I'm sure with your enthusiasm and your expertise, you're going to be chucking out those patterns for sure. So there we are. Look, Daigo, you've been #1 16 times. Keep up the wonderful work. I'm sure you'll keep designing, and we'll see more of your patterns. It's been a fabulous year. You've worked incredibly hard. Are you having a bit of a break?
Never.
Wonderful.
Never.
Oh, wonderful. Well, all the best, and I'm sure I'll see more of your patterns in the future. Thanks, Daigo.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
What a delight. What a delight was Daigo, hey? Wonderful interview. Thoroughly enjoyed it. You could see that enthusiasm was bubbling over, wasn't it? Daigit, if you're watching, thank you very much. It was a wonderful interview, wonderful getting to know you. English is phenomenal, really. I was just chatting away as if I was with a friend. Wonderful. Fizz, as always, has got all the links there. Dropped them all in. Margaret, yes, it was wonderful, wasn't it? Another wonderful interview. It's been fascinating speaking to them. Maybe that's something we can develop more in the future. It's getting those insights to pattern design and how they come up with their ideas. You can't not help to be. It's just fascinating, I think. And then I noticed as I was looking through the chat in that VT. Sue, BebaBlanket has brilliant YouTube videos and does some center out which look really interesting. Yeah, well, look at that. That one that she was saying, as sweet as the mistake that she said she'd made and developed a kind of a new style. And look at that. Wonderful. Lovely to get to know you. And yes, that's why you're number one. What was it? 37 appearances. And then with 16 number ones over those 52 weeks. And I remember having a chat with you, Fizz. Can you remember when her first name kept coming up? I was like, do I say BebaBlanket? BebaBlanket? And then again and again, it's like, who is this? Who is this BebaBlanket? It's phenomenal. And then when you go onto Facebook and you see the group that she's got, yes, it's a huge, huge following. So if you love mosaic crochet, BebaBlanket is for you. Right, so we've only got one chart left to talk about, and that is the pattern. Is there, or was there, a pattern that just kept coming up and up and up, over and over and over? Not different patterns, the one pattern. Which one was it that we kept seeing over and over? 52 weeks, every Sunday afternoon. Do you see a pattern every time you go into Ravelry? Just out of interest. Commenters, let us know if you're chatting away live. If you happen to go into Ravelry, do you often see a pattern that it's just, oh, it's there again, it's there again? Let us know. Because that's the whole point of this show, is to talk about patterns. Which patterns you like. Have you got specific patterns saved in your Ravelry library, which you just keep coming back to over and over and over? I know we're going to talk about it. We'll save it for afterwards, Sue. Get ready to tell us about your ranunculus and all the different ways of making the ranunculus, because yeah, spoiler alert, it's there. Where is it though? Where is it? Is it going to be number one? Right, what are you knitting? Livers, if you're in the chat live, what are you doing at the moment? Before we go into that one, share your patterns, pop it in the chat now. Here's my one. So this was my Christmas cast on that I said at the beginning. It's a top down, so let's hold it properly. A raglan, and I've rattled through. So Christmas Eve and then Boxing Day round my mum's before I went to my brother's in the evening. And it's stocking stitch for the raglan shoulder. So that's my shoulder there. And then the front and back is what we now know as broken rib. So you have your purl on the back, and then on the front a knit and a purl and a knit and a purl. Can you see that? I'll quite get it right. I can, Fizz, yeah. Which one? Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can delete. I can't do it from my program, Fizz. I have to do it from YouTube. Just hold that. Hang on there. So whilst I do this, just tap away into the chat if you're live. I'm just going to do that for Fizz. There we go. Remove. Yeah. There we are. So it's, yes, you can see it. And doesn't it look lovely, this broken rib? And I'm really getting into the rhythm of it. So it's top down. So there, let's hold it the right way up, shall we? So that is the front there. And my shoulders are there, my arms. So I'm looking forward to that. And the beauty of the broken rib, it is only to my peck line. So I have only got like another pattern repeat to go. And then it's just stocking stitch. So as I say, this is Alicia Plummer in Stillness 2. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Double knit. Enjoying it way more than my fingering one, which... I can't show you because it's down in the puffy downstairs in the living room. And that's 4-ply. That's the vest top, but I don't need that probably till March, April time, do I? Let's take a look. Now I've waffled on long enough, we can see what live chatters are doing. Emma, I love Tony Lipsy's patterns and she keeps appearing on my charts. Right, now this is wonderful. Don't even know, right? Come on, let's do this live. Ravelry Patterns. I don't even recognise the name. Tony Lipsy. And this is what we do. It's all about Tony Lipsy. There we go. Is that the one? Knitting. Shawls and wraps. Look, love it. Sweaters. I'm going to look at the sweaters and cardies. Oh, see, look, now a new designer has come to me from sharing. Thank you, Em. Oh, I love this. So statistician Fizz has just told me Tony's appeared in the charts 4 times. I love that. Do you know which ones, Fizz? Oh, you probably do, but that's pushing it, isn't it? Come on, Stat. Oh, just say the cardi one again. Fairy Dust Cardi has apparently been in the charts. Oh, link in the chat. Oh, well done. I might have to use the link in the chat too. Fairy, click, because that's not showing the right one. Oh, Tony Lipsy. Right, I'm going to copy him. Fairy Dust Cardi. Well, why didn't that show up? It's crochet, that's why. I'm a numpty. Tick, click. Fairy Dust Cardi, Tony Lipsy. Oh, I see. Yes. Wonderful. I'm loving this. There we go. I see. Yes, you're a Tunisian crochet fan. Something I've got to get into. Princess, hey Princess. I am working on the Ariana cardigan from Barocco. Now, yes, big yarn brand. They've got great ones too. Holly, hello Holly. Finishing my husband a pair of diamond back socks by Kay Litton. Right. Wonderful. Kay Litton. Oh, I probably can't do this for everyone because we'll be here for ages, won't we? Kay Litton. I can't spell. Did you mean Kay Litton? Thank you, Ravelry. Look, so if you're a sock fan, wonderful. Hey, Anya, hooking a gradient sleeping bag for Bubs. Can't wait to have that. You've got to have that finished very soon. We can put that in the gallery. Anya actually did finish something and I forgot to put it in the gallery last month. We'll have to get you on afterwards, Anya, if you can spare a 5 minutes, do a little interview. I'm sure everyone will be loving seeing you. It's been so long. Jam, plodding away on the woolly waffle. Ooh, shall I put that in? Woolly, how do I spell it? Is it like that? Woolly waffle? Oh, Steva West hat. Oh, the woolly, of course, woolly waffle shawl. It's now... Just got it. Irene in the shop has just knitted a woolly waffle shawl for a private customer, and it was that one. It's wonderful. The stitch pattern. I think you can probably see it better in the the hat. Oh, actually, that hat. Look at that. Look at that. And that's playing around with stocking stitch rows and garter stitch rows by the look of that, and a slip having that nice sort of spine or spines going up. Rob, I'm trying to finish my Advent socks before the new year. Now, Rob, is this your own pattern? Because the socks we had in the gallery in the Woolpatch show, you said they were your own design. Get you. Brilliant. So is this one of your own? So, Natasha, I'm still... I feel for you. It does. The zigzag... let's talk about that because it's a great pattern. Though it's not a very good TV knit. Zigzag. It's a stunning scarf. The effect... Oh, and it's not zigzag. That normally comes up first. Why has that not come up first? There it is. It's stunning when you use the wool that she does it in, which we stock, plug. And it's amazing because it looks like you've done fair isle, but it's actually with a gradient yarn, like an ombre yarn, variegated, that's the word. But it does take forever because it's 4 stitches increase, 5 stitches decrease. 4 stitches increase, 5 stitches decrease. And that's how you get that chevron effect. You can't do it while watching telly. Though actually saying that, Natasha, do you do it whilst watching telly? I couldn't. I kept making mistakes. And Irene knitted one for the shop, and Jenny Friday just kept making mistakes doing it at social at Knit and Natter. She says, I'm just going to do it garter stitch. So the garter stitch variation is stunning. It doesn't look as eye-catching with not having those chevrons, but if you do just want to go to garter stitch, don't blame you. James, knitting a mushroom pattern by Jan de Hyde from the book Yarn Bombing by Mandy Moore. There we go and check it out. Sometimes Ravelry picks up even things like that, so shall we try patterns? But if it's in a book, may not. But I'm going to put Jan to hide. Oh, got an itch. There we go. Might be. Country weekend socks. Yarn bombing. Don't know. There we go. You never know. It's interesting. Yes, Rob even says the exact takes forever. Made one for my sister last Christmas, but I bet it was wonderful. Working on Zen Cal by Hannah Siegmund. I don't know this name either. Hannah. We're going to get to the last chart in a jiffy. Oh yes, I've got 10 minutes left. Oh, look at that. Oh, now I like that. Oh, Fizz, you just give me another stat. Go on. Oh right. Oh, I thought you was going to say Hannah Siegmund has appeared in the charts. Oh, she's on it. No, she's not appeared in the charts. Oh, I see. She goes by TLC Crafts, right? James, hey James, knitting the bottom strip for a Westfjord Wanderer. Right, this will be the last one, I promise. See, this is what I love about the chat. The instant chat live is incredible if you're, I can't tell, Wanderer. Oh, yes, you did show me that one. Wow. You know, there is the creativity from Stephen West is phenomenal. Wow. James, you're at the bottom strip, so you're nearly done. Sue, I'm sat here knitting, relaxing, stocking stitch, a capelet version of stripes to keep me warm, but not doing stripes. You do what you like. Brilliant. Hoping this will be my winter knitting garment. Yeah. Oh, see, look, so many here. Oh, Bob. Hey, Bob. I am working on Timberline cardigan. Lots of cables. We haven't had any cables yet, have we? Timberline. Let's go to Timberline cardigan. Oh, Jared Flood. Yes. Now, I've seen this. Oh, what's his name on Instagram? I want to call him Michael Knits. I've seen him wearing this. Say again, Fizz? No, Michael on Instagram. A different Michael. Has that one appeared in the charts? I've never seen Jared Flood in the chart. Have you, Fizz? No. It is fascinating, especially some of the designers who I follow on Instagram, who I think are prolific. But like we've talked about Les Garçons, Max the knitter, I've not seen him appear in the charts once. Maybe he has on a different day. Maybe some of them just appear on Wednesdays. Maybe that's Max's day or something. I'll quickly go through. Jam, the Icelandic Cardi that was #1 is free at the moment. Oh, right, there we go. That's wonderful. Go grab it while you can. You're doing the waffle. Oh, you're doing the waffle jumper. Yeah, I bet. I love purling because I'm a pivot knitter where I go like this. It's really easy to purl, more easy for me to purl than it is to knit. I see. I can only do it during Jazzy. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, or yes, or not so trashy YouTube shows. You crazy kids. Anya, my book is 9 months to crochet. Oh, that's a lovely little book, isn't it? Yeah. James, this to finish. No, it starts with the wavy bottom strip. Oh no. Right, come on. February, March, James. We could do it. Oh, it's wonderful. I could chat with you all, but we've got 5 minutes left. So let's go for the final chart rundown. We've had a great chat about patterns. That was wonderful. Can't wait to see them progress. Keep me updated. When you finish them, tag your picture on Instagram with @thewoolpatch. It's always great. We can have it on the Woolpatch show. I've still got to decide whether to do the charts for 2024. It's easier for me. I've got it down to a fine art on a Sunday afternoon. It's just a little more time consuming for Fizz with the links. But maybe we could just say, Fizz, you have the year off and you don't have to do the links. But if you, honestly, if the charts were of interest, then let us know if you like them. And then we can consider carrying them on again. I've enjoyed doing them. It's just the reality of everything else and of it all. But it has made for fascinating content for me as a developer in my shop, as a business person for yarn. I've learned an awful lot and that I've been able to give that to customers. So I think I might want to carry it on from that point of view too. Anyway, the final one. We've talked about patterns. Which one has shown up over and over again? Let's go to crochet first. Let's have the top 3 patterns that have been appearing over and over and over. And you're going to laugh at the crochet one because it's just typical. So here comes the top 3 charts for crochet. But there is no number 3 or number 2 because, yes, they've all got joint first with 5 appearances. Kalad Shirt by Jessica Sung, One Evening Mystery Mal by Tatiana Kuprianic, and Madison's Rainbow Baby Blanket by Melanie Robler. There I all was. Let's do a great chart. Yes, the pattern that's been shown so many times. And would you believe it? Out of 52 weeks, we have 5, 5, and 5. And which, yes, and then I think that we did have a 2, but Tatiana got an extra one at the last minute. So, well, how nice is that really for those designers? Top, all number 1. That's like what we used to do at Sports Day with some of the kids, and not have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You're all winners. And if you come 9th, you still get some points anyway. You're all winners. Okay, the one we've been waiting for, the knitting charts. Which pattern has appeared over and over again and got the most? Where is the ranunculus going to be? Because we've been talking about it for too long. Do you think it's going to be number one? Could it be number one? Let's take a look. The top 3 pattern charts. Which one has been repeated over and over again? It's number 3 for the photography shawl by Kristina Vilimaite, 11 times. And then the field sweater by Camilla Vad has been in charts 13 times. But there it is. The ranunculus. Number 1, 23 times it has appeared in the charts. 23 times it has appeared in the charts, but not a number 1. But as I think Jam or someone rightly said, it was released a few years ago, so maybe it was number 1 in 2019 or 2020. But there is something about it because it's always there in the charts. And I've had some great conversations with Sue about it because Sue has just knitted her first ranunculus. It's virtually finished. You were finishing the arms, I recall, weren't you, Sue? Can't wait to see that finished, blocked, and in the gallery. For January, I think. Sue, will we have it for January? Let us know. And if you've knitted it, let us know in the chat there. What's special about it? Is it like what Kristina said in the knitting interview we had earlier on? Is it the idea that you can make so many modifications and it's so size inclusive with regard to the body and with arms, long arms, short arms, and all those adjustments too? Maybe it's because of that. Is that the reason why designers... The more successful patterns are the ones that have those extra options available and considerations for all body sizes? Is that what it is? But there we are. So there. Look at that. 9:30. We've had a marvelous 90 minutes, and it's breezed by, hasn't it? Some wonderful patterns there and some wonderful pattern chat with YouTubers live. If you're watching on replay, I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you found a new pattern or two whilst we were looking at Ravelry. Oh, cool. Let's look at this. Thanks for pointing that out. Camilla Vad has a 40% discount on all her patterns on Rav. No code needed. See, this is the community. Fizz has it in my ear from reading it from Sue. Wonderful. And that's probably why maybe it's appearing in the charts. It's what's hot right now. Look at that. You couldn't have asked for a better ending, could you? It's what people are looking at. Well, at the moment you're looking at me and I fully appreciate it. I've thoroughly enjoyed the show. Have you got any ideas for future shows? It's been quite enjoyable doing a kind of a real niched down specific, that nearly came out wrong, specific show. If you liked it, we can do more of them too. I've enjoyed it. It's been nice sort of focusing in and then having that conversation in that sort of targeted viewpoint. Jam, I have made 3 ranunculuses. Lovely, easy pattern and versatile. There we go. That says it all, doesn't it? And there is, I don't think, nothing better than when you have something that works and you do it again and again and you enjoy that process. Because after all, you've got to enjoy the process, haven't you, too? Been wonderful having your company. Fizz and I will be back for January Wool Patch Show. We haven't got a date in the diary yet, but it's usually mid-month now. We finally sort of getting into a routine, sort of like 15th, 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. And maybe I can persuade... Oh, will Avonia, will you have popped by that point? Maybe we can get a quick chat with you. If so, a what? A super stick. I've not had this before. What does this mean? Pair character punching the air with fist. It's I need a picture. What does that look like live, Fizz? Does that look cool? Does it? Oh, right. Because my software here brings data in from YouTube, but you're right, but it can't render it properly. So I literally have pair character punching the air with fist and bump. I've now looked on YouTube. Wonderful, Em. Thank you very much. Yeah, really appreciate it. As you all know, I've said it before, it all goes into the shop, and those little things then goes to pay like the telephone bill or the heating bill, which I know is going to be a nightmare in January. But I got a nice little Christmas present, a little heater thing that you plug in. Like it's about this big. It's one of these ceramic things. If you hear a report that the shop has gone up in smoke in January, you know it's because of that heater. Thank you, everyone. It's been wonderful having your company, especially in this little betwixt time between Christmas and New Year. That's going to have to be packed up, I think, probably Friday or Saturday. Wonderful to have your company, and I can see all the messages there. Happy New Year to you, Margaret. Been lovely having you watch and have your custom. Same to you, James. Love it. The show is always hot right now for me. Jeez. Sue. Oh, now it's come down. It's a spam advert trying to get us to spend money, I think. Oh, right. But perhaps don't. Hey? Oh yes, that's right. Yes, super sticker. It's all YouTube, Sue. It's all good. Wonderful. Really appreciate your time. Oh, and Fizz, you can't be going doing super stickers too. Coming out in a hot flush. Can't wait to see you for the Woolpatch Show in January. I've got a new toy. This is my Christmas present from Father Christmas. Can I do it? I feel very, very lucky. Look, I can do proper sound, and I can have Fizz properly in my ear where I can hear her. So I'm feeling very, very happy now and very, very much loved. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your company. Have a fabulous new year. I'll be in bed by 10 o'clock. I'll see you sometime in January. Me and Fizz will be back for the Woolpatch Show in January. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of this time till New Year. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.